Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
So Adam is out today, but we are still going to have the Adam Carriker Show, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. I'm Jake Buckman in here as usual, and we are joined today by Nick Sehnert. Nick, how's it going today?
Good, Buck. Buck, it's always a good time because you and I don't get to have on-air conversations a whole lot, and so I'm actually really looking forward to today because it's kind of, you mentioned it when we were off air, it's kind of gives you and I a chance to like reset and be like, okay, where's Buck's head at ahead of the season? Where's Nick's head at? It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. We have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to join in on the conversation, we're going to have a lot of fun today. 402-464-5685. And we're going to pick Nick's head, his brain about Nebraska football today, like he was kind of saying, and get our different thoughts here. So I've got a couple different trivia type stuff for you.
No.
So we'll see how you do here in Husker trivia.
Before we dive too deep into that, any exciting plans for the 4th? What's on the Bachoven schedule for this weekend?
Well, the 4th of July is interesting to me because I usually get invited by 2 or 3 different people to go do things. So I'm a bit of a party hopper on the 4th.
That's okay.
Which is good. You know, you go around, you make your appearances, and then eventually I'll be getting home. So that's kind of the plan this year. I don't spend a whole lot of money. I watch other people blow their money up, and I'll buy a couple cracklers or something.
I received a text last night from actually the 4th of July party group that I'm going to out in Bennington, Nebraska tomorrow night. And the text was $1,500 doesn't get you as much as it used to. You will never find me spending anywhere close to that on fireworks. But hey, like you said, I'm right along the lines of, as you said, I will happily sit there in a lawn chair and just sit from afar and just watch it happen because they are fun. I understand that, like, the pets and obviously you think about the veterans at this time and stuff like that. So I say all this within mind. The 4th is one of my favorite holidays because I really enjoy watching fireworks. I just can't get myself to buy them. Yeah, I'll buy a box of smoke balls or the little ground blooms or stuff like that. I will not go above and beyond though.
Yeah, no, there's no way I'd be spending $1,500. It's just other places in my life I think it could go to.
100%. I think now I'm doing something tomorrow, and I didn't tell AD this, so I'm glad that you and I get to have this conversation. Every year I go to Seward for the 4th in the mornings because I have family out there, and they're Nebraska's 4th of July city.
That's right.
So there's a lot of just random stuff that happens throughout the day in Seward, Nebraska.
They have like a parade.
They do in the afternoon. They have a parade.
Yeah.
But then also like in the morning they have craft fairs, and they have a little carnival that's going on out there. At least they did a couple of years ago. The brewery out there has a cornhole tournament. They have pole vaulting as well, from high school and college athletes, pole vaulters. So it's just stuff like you don't get to see that very often. One of the things I miss, and maybe the text line can help us out here, one of the things I miss from the 4th of July celebrations in Seward is the air show. So out the little regional airport that they have out there, they used to have an air show every 4th of July, and it was really, really cool. But once COVID happened and they kind of canceled that, it went away. But tomorrow, for the first time ever, my cousin and I are participating in the cornhole tournament.
Are you?
We are playing in the cornhole tournament. Our first match is at 9 a.m. I don't know anything about it. There's a very good chance that we absolutely get boat raced in the first round and we're done. But there's a chance that we make some noise as well.
Have you been working on cornhole or not really?
We played it. So when we went down to Milford Lake 2 weeks ago, we brought our cornhole boards. And we were playing, and we were feeling good. We ran the Sehnert family vacation. And it was like, okay, this is, maybe we need to do this. So I texted him last weekend and I said, hey, Sean, I said, you want to participate in the cornhole tournament? And he's like, yeah, let me look into it. So we just signed up. There's a very good chance, like I said, we get matched up with some people that actually play competitively. Maybe they're in a bags or cornhole league. Who knows what's going to happen, but it's going to be a good time out there. So I always look forward to the 4th of July.
I had no clue they even had an airport, so that's good. Or not an airport, I'm sure, but an air somewhere for planes to land. Or is it?
Ooh. So Big Bird said the air show was an all-time thing to watch. This year, Seward is having the world's largest time capsule opened.
Okay.
Okay, so there's some stuff going on in Seward, Nebraska
to
tomorrow.
be.
I need to do this. I need to check that out. I did hear a rumor that there was the time capsule, but I don't know any of the details. I usually just show up, and then wherever cousins and we drive around like a gator around this town and stuff. We used to be a 4-wheeler, but now it's like a 4-person gator. We just drive it around Seward because that's what everybody drives. Nobody drives cars. It's just everybody's driving their 4-wheelers or their little ATV vehicles around just because you can.
Yeah,
it's a good time on the 4th of July.
Now, the world's oldest time capsule, that's quite a statement. I'm not sure if it'll be the world's oldest. Maybe it is, but as we all know, the United States will be 249 years old tomorrow. Yeah. I don't think Seward is quite 249 years old.
Probably not.
I'm very intrigued by that. I don't know what's
all right.
What's
so
be in there.
the full schedule of events. We have there's a car show that's out there as well. It's really cool. Let's see the full 2025 schedule. I'm trying to see where they'll have the time capsule information. Once again, it's the world's largest time capsule.
Okay, yeah.
Big Bird says they already opened it, but the items will be on display. There's a car and a motorcycle.
Oh, cool.
So we misspoke. It's the world's largest, not the world's oldest.
I was gonna say I don't be surprised. Be like that'd be bigger news if they had the world's oldest.
That'd be really special
tomorrow. But the largest one, hey, that's pretty cool too. So it's a lot of fun. I know I've been out to Seward. I got some family in Seward too.
Nice.
So yeah,
I was never aware of that.
I didn't quite. I don't think I've ever quite made it for the 4th. I feel like I was there for near the 4th a couple of years ago, but I don't remember. There's a 3rd or something. I bought some fireworks up there, but I wasn't there for the festivities.
I have. Well, first off, that was where I started my fear of roller coasters. I don't know if I cannot do roller coasters. I rode the octopus at the Seward County Fair during the 4th of July when I was like 9 years old, and I had a panic attack while I was on the ride. I'm not afraid to admit it. I had a panic attack while I was on the ride, and I thought to myself, you know what? Never again. And
since you were a kid, you don't ride.
I will not do roller coasters.
Well, I don't think the octopus at the Seward County Fair is probably a fair evaluation of all roller coasters. Do you think?
I still don't feel good about riding. Yeah. Right? It's just the thing that scares me about roller coasters, and this is like whether you're passing Six Flags, like when you see those places, when they're shut down, and it's like not the time that they're open, obviously. Like in Denver, I think there's an amusement park, and the stuff looks rusty.
Yeah,
and it's just like they'll put it through one test run and be like, okay, it worked, but then you put 20 people on it.
Yeah.
You just there's too many things out of my control on roller coasters that doesn't make me feel comfortable.
But you don't have a problem like flying a plane or like other stuff.
Absolutely not.
No. Well, that stuff's out of your control too.
Yeah. I also like part of me sits there and goes, well, if I'm meant to go out this way, I can't control that.
Yeah.
So.
But that's at least for travel. That's not for just pure joy of going on a roller coaster.
Yeah, the roller coaster also there's something. I love water parks. I could go on the slides. I could do any of that. It's something about roller coasters with it being open as well that I really struggle with.
Yeah, I loved roller coasters as a kid. And unfortunately, like in my mid-20s, that already kind of started to sour my stomach when I go on them. So now I don't enjoy them as much. But I've always been. I'll see what your kind of thoughts are on this. Ferris wheels. Hate Ferris wheels. I'm scared. I don't like getting to the top. They stop there.
Yep.
They shake. If you ever go with a kid, you're just kind of like hoping they don't rattle too much. I hate Ferris wheel.
I gotta be honest. I don't think I've ever been on one.
Oh, don't go.
Like so obviously there's an establishment, no free shout outs in South Lincoln that has a Ferris wheel.
Indoor Ferris wheel.
An indoor Ferris wheel. That would probably be okay for me. It's something about the outdoors. Are you an adrenaline junkie? Like are you somebody that I know there's a lot of people out there that do the roller coaster simply just because the adrenaline rush it gives them. Are you somebody that enjoys the adrenaline rush?
Again, I think I was at one time. I definitely, I did love that, especially as a kid. This is going to sound crazy, but I'd climb trees tall enough. And there's the craziest experiences when you climb the tree. Not a good idea, by the way. But when you climb a tree,
don't do
so
this.
Tall, like so high that like when you hold on to it and the wind blows, you like kind of
no way, over. And you would start swaying.
Yes, that's that was about the height of level of the trees I would climb. So I would be an adventurous at one point in time, but I don't know. There's just something about getting older, just like, or it took enough fall. Like I broke my wrist. I've had enough
Yeah.
falls. I've cracked my head that I just feel like, it's probably not worth it at this point.
Like we're talking about this, and my palms are uncomfortably sweaty right now. Like that's how I feel. I enjoy adrenaline. I just choose to find it in other avenues and not open-ended, open roller coasters. Like my family loves them. Where it's like they love the Mamba.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember what amusement park people are gonna crucify me on the text line for not knowing the actual water or the actual roller coaster park, but like the Mamba's a big one. I know down in Kansas City. The Patriots big. I've never gone. My family asked if we ever wanted to go. My sister always wanted to go. I will stay far away from it.
Would you do? Adam's wife just did skydiving for a second time. Would you consider skydiving? Obviously, your first time tandem. Somebody's going to be there with you.
As I stand on the ground right now, I say yes. I would enjoy it. But once you get up there and that door opens, I feel like you have business decisions to make.
Yeah.
And while my like thought process when doing a lot of these like riskful tasks or adventures is how many people have done it and it's worked out fine.
Yeah.
Like playing the odds, kind of like play the odds a little bit and hope that, everything works out and you're just another one on for the people that it worked out well for. It just takes one time though. For
That's
that,
right.
like the parachute not to go. I don't know. I also sit there and it was funny. Years ago, Ed Service came and talked, the former Creighton baseball coach.
Okay.
I promise this is going to work back to it. Ed Service came and talked to like the group that I was a part of. And he said, you never want to get out of a situation and look back and go, man, I regret saying no. And I've kind of like kept that. That's how I feel like my approach to skydiving would be. If somebody was like, Nick, we'll let you skydive. I would get up there and be like, all right, you know what, Nick, you're going to feel pretty crappy about yourself if you get back on the ground and you backed out.
Yeah.
And you're going to regret this. You're going to regret saying no. And so I think just my internal peer pressure would kick in.
Were you ever able to jump off the height? Did you go to Woods Pool yet in here in Lincoln? Did you jump off the towers?
Jumped off the towers.
Yeah. I say when you said you got up there, I got nervous. I remember one time when I was a kid, I climbed up there. I said, I'm not doing this. This is ridiculous.
and then what's the most uncomfortable is you have to walk down the ladder.
Right, yeah.
That's
the ladder's scary
tougher.
too when you're a kid going down those. Yeah, you're not wrong.
That's the toughest part is actually you look down, you're like, okay, how do I climb? Because you got to work around the kids that are climbing up or the people that are climbing up. And it's like, man, how do I get down? Do I go and like put my heels on the ladder so I can be facing out? Do I go reverse the way I came up and just kind of slowly go? You have to figure out all that stuff.
Well, it's funny too, because you also mentioned, kind of the risk evaluation. And, I think about that sometimes. Like sometimes I feel like humans, we've gotten so far in technology and what we can do that like you're acting like a god up there. You're just flying through the sky and thinking that's just fine. But it is. I mean, you have to go back to the evaluation. So like when Adam was talking about how his wife did it, they did it through the same people. And so 20 years later, it's the same people. It's the same instructor. They've been doing it basically, 5 days a week or whatever, all that time. And so it is rather safe if for 20 years somebody's been able to do it several times a day over and over again. And I think about the same thing with airplanes. Obviously, we all get worked up when we see anything there. There's literally people who have careers of taking 3 flights a day for 40 years.
That's what I think is like I don't know if we actually can comprehend all of the flights that are being are running just at any given moment at the same time. I'll tell you what, I was flying into Dallas back in March and for Nebraska women's basketball when they played TCU, and I remember looking out the window. Are you a window seat or an aisle seat guy?
I'd prefer the window, but
okay. So I was looking out the window because I was on the window seat. I'm the same way there. And I remember seeing a plane. There was a plane that was flying next to us.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought to myself, man, like, think about just in this small area, here's 2 or 3 planes, and obviously once you get closer to those bigger airports like DFW or JFK or the LAX, there's going to be more and more. O'Hare is a popular one. Because when you fly into O'Hare, you have to go like out into the water and then they like turn around.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so you see a lot of these other planes that are going that same way. And it's just like, well, hold on now. There's a lot of things happening and a lot of organization that we don't even think about. We hop on the plane, we sit there, and we just hope that us individually get to our next spot safely when there's hundreds of other planes that are going and leaving from airport after airport time and time again.
Yeah. And I just think it's so funny too, kind of going back to, maybe how spoiled we are as air travelers. Is, you get so upset, and I do, like, you're worried about your next flight.
Mm-hmm.
You get so upset if there's any stall. And I think about that especially when you said O'Hare, because every time I go into Chicago, like my next flight, I'm always running because there's always there's always some sort of stalling going on. But it's just funny that we literally fly across the country. Then I'm mad about 10 minutes or something.
Yeah, well, or mad about gate changes, and like rightfully so, because you strategically plan out flights to where you can try to get to your destination as quick as possible. So I completely understand the frustration, and I've, just like you, Bach, been in that spot to where it's like, man, I got to run across an entire airport. It feels like I got to take a tram to another gate to another. I'm blanking on the word of a terminal.
Yeah.
And stuff. So it does make it. IQ Crew, how about this, Bach? He says, I can confirm Seward on the 4th is legit. People started reserving their spots along the parade route yesterday.
Oh, man.
So the way you do it, and it's simple. It's similar to like the Masters, to where people, once they put a lawn chair, you cannot move it. and so Seward is the same, where it's people will line up chairs and they'll line up blankets, and it's like, all right, how many people are we going to have? We're going to have 6. All right, six chairs in a row. Nobody's going to touch them for the next 72 hours. And then we'll all just show up at 3:00. We'll have a spot, and then we'll be able to go home after the parade is over or passes us by.
Now, now that you kind of bring that up too, I will have a few more questions about your cornhole tournament. Is there a prize for the victor?
So I don't know all the details.
Okay.
All I know, I don't expect to get there.
Yeah.
So, there we are. The cornhole tournament. I'm trying to find some information on it for the July 4th. So once again, it starts at 9 a.m. And shout out. Yeah. So yeah, it just says it's Bottle Rocket Cornhole Tournament, and it's Bottle Rocket Brewing, a brewery up in Seward. Great spot. But yeah, it starts at 9 a.m. Hopefully it doesn't go for hours and hours. Like, I'm hoping it's one of those things where you don't have teams that like leave and then they come back and you're waiting for, like, I hope it's just bang, 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 like one after the other.
You think it's a double elimination, or?
I think it's double elimination.
Yeah. I would give you a chance there.
Yeah. So hold on. Let me see if I can, as July 4th cornhole tournament.
Because you're right. There are people that, I mean, there could be some serious competition there. There are people that are pretty darn good at that game.
Yeah, I would imagine so. And I don't throw it. This might shock people. I don't throw it the way you're supposed to throw it. And so, like they can, we were playing up at Blur for the College World Series party, and like people are like spinning it to where it just slides perfect. And
oh yeah.
I just bunch it up and I just kind of throw it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it works out.
There's all different strategies.
But I would hope that, the boards are regulation, and I hope that the bags are nice quality bags. And I think they are, because this is now, I mean, they've been doing this for years after years. And so I would imagine that the bracket's organized and everything's taking care of itself. And yeah, it's all outdoors. So at least it's at 9 a.m. So hopefully it's not blazing, as we get going. So it's going to be a good time though. I always enjoy it. So I enjoy the 4th of July, other than obviously like the surprise big booms and things like that. So.
One more thing before we get to break is that yesterday, and I talked a little bit about on air about it, and so I'm glad you're here so I can talk to you about it. You were freaking out because you were worried about a picture that surfaced online. We'll say that, but a picture that was taken from behind.
I have to figure out who took that picture. I think it was Ellie.
Oh, okay.
They did not treat me well for the angle.
But Scott, you worried you're balding. You're worried thinning at least.
Yeah, thinning.
Yeah,
I think thinning is
yeah.
the one, because I don't know if I'll ever fully lose it. It's just thin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, those are the cards. I said it earlier, and those are the cards I've been dealt.
You're taking it well.
I'm not.
No.
Not internally. I'm trying to be strong on the outside. We got a text. So when I found out everything yesterday, and shout out to a lot of people. There was like 6 people that DM'd me on Twitter with suggestions.
Oh, good.
On what products I should use. There was somebody, I can't remember who it was on the text line. Maybe they're listening right now and they can remind me. Somebody recommended a specific shampoo that they've used.
Okay.
And it's worked. I bought it, and I just got the notification at 11 a.m. that it was delivered to my door.
Nice.
And so, shout out to Amazon. But yeah, so we're gonna try it.
That's what they say. As soon as you notice it, if you attack it right away, maybe you can save it.
There's hope.
Yeah,
there's hope. I don't know. Follically challenged.
I'm in the same position as you.
No
I've been
way.
worried about. Yeah,
You're fine.
Starting to get kind of receding hairline here.
Okay.
A little bit of a balding back here, thinning, like you were kind of saying. So I need to get some of these products too.
And there's nothing like I am not ashamed at all to be bald. Like I have no shame at all to if that day comes. I'm not worried about it. It's just the initial shock.
Yeah,
like that's what I got to work through. Because everybody's on the text line being like, Nick, it's not a big deal. Trust me, I have family members. My dad is half bald. Like, he's got the hair around the back of the head and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, once again, I have no issues, and I'm not embarrassed to be. It's just the initial shock of like, man, I'm 24, and I noticed it.
Yeah.
And it's just maybe it's my haircut. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be the haircut. That could always factor in as well.
Somebody said, "Embrace your brain's solar panel." I love that. That's what I appreciate. So, and then I got a text message yesterday. Somebody edited a photo of me and made me bald, and they said, "You actually look pretty good. You should just shave it now."
If you have the right head shape, it can definitely work out. So for many, we'll see.
Bald is beautiful.
Yeah, Rex Burkhead pulls it off.
Sure.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being bald. It is
the
like
rest of my body doesn't look like Rex
shot.
Burkhead, so that's a little bit of an issue. But
now, what you and I do have going for us is we can grow pretty good beards. So
exactly.
That will always be able to balance it out. But let's go ahead and take a quick break. We got plenty of more celebrating to do here on the 3rd of July. And also, we'll jump into Husker football trivia. We'll see how you guys can compare against Nick Sehnert here. I'm not going to give you the exact topic, but we'll get to that next year on 93.7 The Ticket.
In today's digital world, technology works great until it doesn't. At Hamilton, we work to keep your business up and running. We are more than an IT company. We're your partner, focused on customized solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Say goodbye to tech stress and unexpected IT costs when you hire Hamilton. Together, we help you focus on what really matters. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
Hopefully you and I agree that you should do everything you can to save your marriage. Divorce is hard, expensive, and its outcome is usually not all you hope for. However, when doing everything has failed, when divorce remains as your last option, consider Cordell & Cordell as your first choice to help you through the divorce process to a better place on the other side. We've been a partner men can count on for more than 30 years. Let us be that partner for you.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Lincoln area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 402-858-3220. That's 402-858-3220. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Lincoln. 1221 N Street, Suite 801, Lincoln, Nebraska 68508.
Sehnert Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Sehnert Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Sehnert Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Is your child 7 to 8 years old and wanting to get involved in competitive baseball or softball? The Nebraska Dominators have been active in the youth sports community since 1994 and are currently holding tryouts for their 7U and 8U baseball and softball teams. Visit the Nebraska Dominators Facebook page for more info today and provide your player the path to a successful and enjoyable youth sports experience with the help of the Nebraska Dominators.
Need service on your home air conditioner? Call the company Lincoln has counted on since 1952, Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. No matter what brand you have, when you need service, you want Bryant's experienced pros working for you. friendly Nate certified technicians with the tools, training, and technology to restore your comfort quickly. No matter what brand, when you need service, just call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and the hail sale has been a huge success, but is winding down. We still though have several units with huge discounts. Plus, we have brand new Sierras, $14,000 off list, or starting at $37,105, or 0.9% APR on select new models. Yes, you heard right. $14,000 off or 0.9% APR on new Sierras starting at $37,105. So please check us out at cobblecars.com. All deals with roof credit, stock number G289358.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine. It'll be breezy and hot with an afternoon high near 94. Tonight, clear skies, continued breeze, a low around 72. And tomorrow, a chance of showers and storms in the afternoon. Otherwise, mainly sunny and breezy with a high near 91. I'm meteorologist Kyle Clutcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and the hail sale has been a huge success, but is winding down. We still though have several units with huge discounts. Plus, we have brand new Sierras, $14,000 off list, or starting at $37,105, or 0.9% APR on select new models. Yes, you heard right. $14,000 off or 0.9% APR on new Sierras starting at $37,105. So please check us out at cobblecars.com. All deals with roof credit, stock number G289358.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Citizen soldier and veterans of the Army National Guard, you are invited to celebrate the 3rd of July at the Roca Tavern for a free concert by Sean Cole and the Drunk Monkeys. It all starts at 8 p.m., and it's sponsored by the City Car Wash on 3rd and Main in Hickman.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Jake Bachman alongside Nick Sehnert for today as Mr. Adam Carriker. Hopefully spending some time with his family here on July 3rd. But we will wish everybody, of course, a happy 4th of July here from 93.7 The Ticket as our country turns 249 years old. It's going to be a big celebration, I think, next year for 250. So
might as well.
That'll be fun, yeah. But we will get into some Husker sports now, specifically some Husker sports football trivia. We'll see how well Nick knows Husker football over the last 20 years, specifically the defensive side of the ball. So we'll get into that here in just a second. But just to kind of set it up, is that later in the second hour, I also wanted to kind of go through who you, Nick, and the listener thinks has the best potential for a breakout season. I know a lot of people are expecting a big season for Dylan Raiola, but in my mind, this team is littered with folks that could have a breakout season. Nebraska's going to need some of them. Not to quote somebody, I might get some hate for this on the text line, but Kirk Ferentz often says we need some good stories. You need some good stories by season's end of guys rising up the depth chart and making some names for themselves. But one of those guys that I'm interested to see, and I think could have a breakout season, is Marquise Watson-Trent. Now, a breakout season's kind of interesting a way to put it, because it would be more of kind of an opportunity for him to show that he can do it at the Power 4 level. And it's not necessarily that he needs to do more than what he's done in the past. It's just, does it translate here? Now, many know Marquise Watson-Trent has been getting more than 100 tackles at his previous stop. His last 3 seasons, 120 tackles, 116 tackles, and 113 tackles. So he is a tackling machine, and many believe that he could lead this team in tackles as well. We will have to wait and see. Now, if he does break the 100 tackle mark, he would be just the 6th player in the last 20 seasons to do so. Nick, can you name some of the other 5 in the last 20 seasons that have had more than 100 tackles for that black shirt defense?
Is Levante David on the list?
Levante David is one.
Okay. There's 6 of them?
There is 5.
5.
Hopefully Marquise Watson-Trent would be
it would
6.
be 6.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think, go back through. So, because it's more than likely going to be a linebacker. Are they all linebackers?
They're all linebackers.
Okay.
Yes.
Was JoJo Doman?
No,
because he didn't have the volume. I'm trying to think back. What time frame for some of these? Obviously, the last 20 years.
Yeah. So the last 20 years, I think if you got Levante. So basically, all of them are after Levante.
Okay. I don't think a guy like Luke Gifford had the volume.
No, not Gifford.
Compton never got over 100.
Compton is one.
He is one.
Compton is one.
Okay.
The year after Levante David left, Will Compton had 109 tackles in 2012. So there's 2.
I'm trying to think about these guys that maybe we forgot about.
These ones are going to be kind of hard.
2017. Like, I'm thinking about names like, now I'm not, these aren't guesses, but people forget about guys like David Santos and Colin Miller.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, Bach, help me out.
All right. It's going to be hard from there. So I'll go ahead and just give you some of these names. Luke Reimer.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, Luke Reimer
walk-on.
had 109 tackles in 2021.
Yep.
Mo Berry had 112 in 2018. And Zaire Anderson had 103 in 2014.
That's a name. He spent some time with the Denver Broncos, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot of just those defenders that we forget about at times. Like, I mentioned the Colin Miller, the David Santos names. Like, I was thinking about, like, defensive backs as well the other day in a completely unrelated conversation of, like, Joshua Kalu and Damian Stafford. And, like, there were Nebraska's had some really good defensive backs over the last couple of years and just defensive players, I should say, over the last 15, 20 years, even though maybe the results haven't been pretty.
Yeah, it's interesting. Nebraska, and it's kind of part of the whole discussion is, some of these Nebraska does need, like I said, kind of some good stories, guys to evolve more than maybe and develop, obviously, on the coaching side more than what is expected of them. And so you need some really good players to show out. And so, Nebraska's, again, you don't necessarily have to have somebody get 100 tackles. Nebraska's had top 25 defenses each of the last couple of years, didn't necessarily get there, but in different ways you need to show out. And hopefully at some point Nebraska gets back in that conversation of having, where it's not hard to think of when you throw out some names and be like, okay, yeah, there's the guy that's played in the league for several years and all conference type players.
Marquise Watson-Trent is also he's one guy that he's got a pretty big task on his hands. Like, there's a couple of guys on this defense that have some pretty big months ahead for them. And I compare Marquise Watson-Trent a lot to John Bullock of last year. Bullock is about an inch taller. I think Bullock was listed at 6 foot, while Trent is listed at 5'11". Similar weight. Trent is to about 227. Bullock was around 230. So very similar weight. I kind of see them being pretty similar in what they're asked to do. But he's a guy that, like, That's going to be a big spot to fill. The front seven for Nebraska football this year is going to look different. And I would ask you this, Buck, like overall confidence level, we talk so much about the front four, and we talk so much about Dylan Raiola and Emmett Johnson and the skill positions. Where's your mind at going into John Butler's first year as DC?
Yeah, I mean, I still think as we look at this team, as much as we do get excited about those other pieces, I think the front lines are going to be the most important and the most telling there. And of course, it's a big task, like you said, for John Butler to come in and take over as defensive coordinator. A needed one, obviously, the transition from last year, where the defensive backs and a lot of people, I think a lot of people's confidence level is a little bit deflated because the defensive backs maybe played a little bit better 2 years ago when John Butler wasn't in the room compared to last year. Now, to be fair to him, he had, a month before, he's hired as a safety or the defensive back coach not long before the season last year. So we'll kind of see how that turns out. But I'm very intrigued by it. And it's one of those things where it's so fascinating that the offense is considered the strength of this team when for the past 2 years, the defense has done the heavy lifting.
Because I don't know if we've recognized it, and this is why I'm surprised maybe we're not talking more about it. And we'll get to deeper football conversations within the next month and a half as we get ready for Cincinnati on August 28th. But I think ultimately, I just looked it up to make sure I was correct. Nebraska was 18th nationally in total defense last year. They were 11th the year before. This is not John Butler's not taking over for a unit that was barely top 75 or struggled immensely and giving up 400 yards a game. This isn't the case of a coach that got fired, a defensive coordinator that got fired. This is one that obviously left, and for a multitude of reasons, and we don't need to get into that. But there's big shoes to fill because we talk all the time about standard and expectations, and even if Nebraska takes a slight step down defensively and it's a top 25 defense, it's still good, right? But you want to continue to build off of what you've done the last couple of years, even if there are different bodies in the room, coach or player. And so this is not an easy task ahead, I think, and it's a pretty big one because Nebraska's offense, while it might be a little more explosive than last year, there's also some holes on that offense, and you need the defense to be able to pick you up.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating, just the whole conversation, because I understand that Dylan Raiola and Dana Holgorsen are your two key offseason sells, right? Like that's in just really the two biggest pieces that Nebraska has, under Matt Rule, to believe that things are heading in the right direction. So there's a lot of focus on offense. But I keep going back to, if you get one injury, we're one injury from Emmett Johnson away. I'm not sure what the ceiling is on that offense. So.
And that's the big one, right?
Yeah.
Is it's what is the look? I mean, what does it look like if Emmett Johnson goes down? I think you're going to see a heavy dose or a healthy dose of Mekhi Nelson this year.
Yeah.
But once again, does that move the needle and make you comfortable as a Husker fan? And sure, you can take the wait and see approach. If you're a Husker fan, you can take that approach, and nobody's going to argue with that. But I think, there's some holes, and I'm interested to see what the offensive line looks like. You can kind of fill it out to where, all right, Elijah Pritchett's going to be at that left tackle position. I personally think that Henry Lutovsky is going to be at that right side, on the right side of that line. Now, what does that mean for, left guard? Center is going to probably be Justin Evans. But, in a year where there's some curiosity of holes, that's where you need the defense to be able to say, we got your back on these games where maybe Nebraska's offense doesn't do so well. And we've seen that time and time again the last couple of years, whether it was with Jeff Sims, a quarterback, or even Dylan Raiola last year.
Well, and I think too, if you remember to last year, and again, I think it felt like there was a step down. Now, one of those situations is the Indiana game, right? Yep. Kind of exposes you. Great defense, yes, but not great on that day, right? And so there's plenty of reasons to believe that defense did well. They did. I mean, they're the only team, I believe, in several years, especially for Huskers, not to allow a rushing touchdown at home. That's a crazy feat. Anybody
especially
would
in the
take
conference that you're playing in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I also remember going into last year, they were talking about being that 11th ranked defense and saying we want to be number one. So I think part of it was they didn't exactly take that step forward, and that's what something you said kind of earlier that kind of made me think of that is, are they going to build on what they were able to do the last couple of years? And I think the thought process for most Husker fans and pundits is not necessarily to build, but at least maintain and get back to where they were. And there's questions whether they can do that. Just that. So I think that's interesting, because that's kind of where the offseason question is for the defense is, can you maintain, not necessarily build, but how great would it be if they did improve?
Yeah, the maintaining piece and angle is fascinating, because you can look at it both micro and macro. Like micro, if you want to look at it, is game to game, or even series to series, possession to possession, quarter to quarter, whatever it is. You can look at it and go, okay, are they maintaining this standard that they've had as a program the last couple of years on the defensive side of the ball? But then the macro conversation as a program is one that's fascinating too, because you have one side of the ball, offense. I don't think that this is not a bold take. Like, I'm not going to get criticized for saying this. The offense needs to take a step forward. And I think we are expecting it to under Dana Holgerson. And we could play the stupid game of what if it doesn't, right? Like, what if it doesn't work under Dana Holgerson or Dylan Raiola or whatever it might be? I just think that there's a couple of places on that offense where you're, like you said, an injury away from it altering severely. Even at the quarterback position, like what does TJ Lateef look like?
Yeah.
And as I like TJ Lateef, but is he ready to go? And so I just wonder. I think the defense, as we get caught up in Dane Key and Ja'Cory Barney, and rightfully so, because those guys are exciting additions. But what about the ones that chose to stick around on the defensive side of the ball? Like Riley Van Poppel will have to take a step forward, and the guys like Marquise Watson-Trent, the defensive backs. Also, same thing. Like, this is a big year for Deshaun Singleton and Marquise Buford Jr. and those types of guys on the perimeter, as we usher in younger guys like a Donovan Jones that we saw in the bowl game, in the linebacker room of Vincent Shavers Jr. As we usher those guys in, the leaders now, the Deshaun Singletons and the Marquise Bufords, they got to hold their own as well, especially with a new coordinator.
Yeah, especially that secondary you're kind of mentioning, kind of throw in Hartzog there. I mean, there's so many game experience there that they do need to take that step up and hopefully, help lead that defense. Let's go ahead and take another quick break. I've got some more trivia for Nick as we continue through our July 3rd episode of the Adam Carriker Show. We'll be right back.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
Are kids better off in an intact family? You bet they are. This is Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. Kids living in a household with married parents do better in school, they're emotionally healthier, and they're more likely to stay out of trouble with the law. If you're in a troubled marriage, of course you should do everything you can to save your marriage, if only for your kids' sake. This includes considering alternatives to divorce. Of course, in some circumstances, divorce is unavoidable. In either case, if you're a man facing a crisis in your marriage, let us help you at Cordell & Cordell. Remember, we're the partner men can count on.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives. Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Lincoln area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Lincoln, Cordell & Cordell, 1221 N Street, Suite 801, Lincoln, Nebraska, 68508.
Need service on your home air conditioner? Call the company Lincoln has counted on since 1952, Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. No matter what brand you have, when you need service, you want Bryant's experienced pros working for you. Friendly, NATE-certified technicians with the tools, training, and technology to restore your comfort quickly. No matter what brand, when you need service, just call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Image Inflators in Bennett reminds you, giving blood is easy and most individuals are eligible to donate. Your donation can save up to 3 lives by dividing it into red and white blood cells, platelets, and plasma. Taking registration time into account, it only takes about an hour to donate and costs you nothing. This from Image Inflators in Bennett, a local business serving customers from coast to coast. Inflate your business image. Call 402-499-2379 or visit imageinflators.com.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back here on a 3rd of July edition of the Adam Carriker Show with myself, Jake Bachman, and Nick Sehnert. As Adam is, like I said, hopefully enjoying some time with his family, whatever he needed to get done today. I'm sure it's 4th of July, really. Like, maybe they had to go out and get to the fireworks stand and get some of those free fireworks that you get. Well, there's always like buy one, get 3 or 4 free or something like that. It's always a good deal out there, the fireworks stands. Have you ever made the trip, Nick, to like Missouri or something to go get bigger, better fireworks? We talked about we're not big spenders, but
I have not. I don't know, and maybe people can fill us in on the text line. Like, what's the positive side to drive down to Missouri and get them? Just because you can buy them whenever.
I just think you can. I think they sell more often. I think they sell.
Like, are they cheaper because they're more accessible?
I think that there's different ones. I'm trying to figure out a way to say
illegal.
This. Yes, illegal fireworks that would
bottle rockets are the biggest one.
Line. Yeah, bottle rockets, which are fantastic.
Which who's monitoring the legality of fireworks that are being shot off in Lincoln?
Yeah,
or in Nebraska?
That's got to be tough.
I mean, it's practically impossible. I did see, and this is a good like PSA for obviously those that do want to call in if there are ever, not to us, call into Lincoln Police Department or whoever it is that you want to rant to about people shooting off fireworks and stuff. I did see it where they were like very specific on make sure you have the address, make sure you have all these details before you call, because you light them off, the colors go away, and it's just smoke. Like you can't. It's hard to find them.
Oh yeah.
So if you're going to be one of those people, and that's fine if you are, if you're going to be one of those that want to call in and argue and complain about how your neighbors are lighting off fireworks, be ready to come with all the information so that way LPD and all those forces can do their jobs, to the best of their abilities. So I did see that over later.
Yeah, and thanks to everybody out there, as far as, like you said, police department, everybody that's going to be kind of monitoring that stuff.
Healthcare workers.
Yeah.
My goodness. I mean, it's kind of scary because over the last couple of years, and with social media, there's a lot of just random videos that get posted, and you hear stories and things like that about not only former athletes, but just everyday people that are getting injured because of fireworks. And so, yeah, it's healthcare facilities, I'm sure, are ramping up, getting ready for the weekend and stuff. And so, just be safe, I suppose.
Yeah, as we all know, some folks are not going to have as many fingers by the end of the weekend, and that's hopefully it's nobody local or close, but it's going to happen.
Eric says on the text line, I bet Nick's the kind of guy who calls and complains about fireworks. Absolutely not. If there's not, we're going to stop right there. I do not call and complain about much, because once again, it lasts for 10 minutes. That's where we talked about like the prices of fireworks and stuff. You can spend $1,000 and it takes 20 minutes to light everything off.
Yeah,
and that's all it takes.
Yeah, there it goes.
Then I break it down by hour of like, okay, how much did I just light off in every 10 seconds? About $15. I don't know if the math is right there, but
it is funny too, as you talk about calling in, because I think about getting older. When you kind of get the, you kind of give that to like the older crowd, right? The older crowd will call in on people. And I realized that I was getting older the other day because I was driving down here, and I would call him an idiot, weaving out of traffic in his bicycle.
Oh yeah.
And he's like doing wheelies and all this stuff. And I'm like, this guy's an idiot. It was like early on a Friday evening. I was like, all right, I'm going to call this in just so the people are aware.
You called it in?
I called it in because he's an idiot and he was going to cause traffic. I already get nervous even driving next to motorcycles, obviously.
Okay.
If anybody's doing like tricks like that, I don't want to be a part of it. If you're getting close to me.
I can't believe you called it in.
So I called it in, and then I turned around the corner. I go down this, and then I go down this way a little bit. This isn't going to be all that great reflective of Lincoln. Lincoln's a great place, but then I see a man changing fully naked down the street down here, and I said, I'm going to call, and then I thought, I can't make two calls. I'm getting too old.
I just got off the phone with you guys. I reported a motorcycle doing wheelies, but now we got a naked guy.
Now there's a naked guy. And downtown Lincoln was crazy that day, but I couldn't do it. So the naked guy got away because I couldn't make back-to-back phone calls just because that's like the first one I had ever done. I don't know if I've ever called in anybody before. And I thought I was just going to do it. I don't know if it was something about how I was feeling that day, but man, I was feeling old.
I can't believe you called it in.
I had to.
Yeah. I mean, it is. There's always something. I kind of my approach on that is, especially like on the interstate, if people are zooming by, I don't worry about calling it in, but there is something gratifying about you pass them, in 20 minutes and they're pulled over. And it's like, see, where'd this really get you?
That's right.
Like, where'd this get you? I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to act obnoxiously. I didn't, in your case, didn't have to call it in for it to happen. Nature ran its course and the world prevailed.
Well, it's funny too because it was the first. I know there's like a non-emergency number, but I was like driving.
Did you not call you called 911?
I called 911. That was a bad idea, probably. Yeah, I was like, and so I was like immediately. I was just like, this isn't that serious. I just wanted to let you guys know.
Have you ever accidentally called 911?
I don't necessarily believe in that. I don't even know how you would accidentally do that.
What I mean, you have a young child.
Yeah,
and sometimes they can get a hold of phones and stuff like that. Well, there was a time. This was probably 10 years ago. We were eating at like Applebee's or something, and then we were with family friends that had a young child. She ended up grabbing my mom's phone and was like dialing 911 and called it. And my mom realized, and she like picked up the phone, and she hung up, and 911 called us back and was like, "What's going on?" And my mom's like, "I did not know this was happening." Got like scolded by 911. She's like, "You need to be more cautious about what your children are doing and what the young kids around you are doing on your phones." It was a big thing. It's a big deal.
Yeah, which
I understand.
Big job. Yeah.
So,
you understand that.
I'm sure they got off the phone with you and said, this guy really called 911 for that. Man, he must be about 75 years old. Nope. In addition to losing our hair back, we're starting to call things in.
Well, good thing I didn't call right back. They would have been really upset about that. Let's go ahead and take another break.
Great segment.
Yeah, there we go. Let's take another break. We will get back to Husker sports, a little bit of trivia. And like I said, at the top of the hour, I want to go through who has the most likely possibility to break out this season. There's a lot of different guys. We're going to have to choose just one. We'll do that next, coming up here on the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket.
Are kids better off in an intact family? You bet they are. This is Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. Kids living in a household with married parents do better in school, they're emotionally healthier, and they're more likely to stay out of trouble with the law. If you're in a troubled marriage, of course you should do everything you can to save your marriage, if only for your kids' sake. This includes considering alternatives to divorce. Of course, in some circumstances, divorce is unavoidable. In either case, if you're a man facing a crisis in your marriage, let us help you at Cordell & Cordell. Remember, we're the partner men can count on.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives. Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Lincoln area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Lincoln, Cordell & Cordell, 1221 N Street, Suite 801, Lincoln, Nebraska, 68508.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with the child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Is your child 7 to 8 years old and wanting to get involved in competitive baseball or softball? The Nebraska Dominators have been active in the youth sports community since 1994 and are currently holding tryouts for their 7U and 8U baseball and softball teams. Visit the Nebraska Dominators Facebook page for more info today and provide your player the path to a successful and enjoyable youth sports experience with the help of the Nebraska Dominators.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL Weather, sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine. It'll be breezy and hot with an afternoon high near 94. Tonight, clear skies, continued breeze, a low around 72. And tomorrow, a chance of showers and storms in the afternoon. Otherwise, mainly sunny and breezy with a high near 91. I'm meteorologist Kyle Klecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
In today's digital world, technology works great until it doesn't. At Hamilton, we work to keep your business up and running. We are more than an IT company. We're your partner, focused on customized solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Say goodbye to tech stress and unexpected IT costs when you hire Hamilton. Together, we help you focus on what really matters. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
If you're a veteran, our nation has created a wide range of benefits to thank you for your service. But it can be difficult to navigate the process of determining eligibility, filing claims, appealing decisions, and securing the benefits you've earned. Speak to your County Veteran Service Officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. These services are 100% free. So visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Make bill paying a breeze with Text to Pay. LES texts you 1 week before your bill's due date. Just reply to the text to pay. It's that easy. Log into your account at les.com to sign up today.
Make your move fun and easy with the help of Movers and Shakers. Movers and Shakers is homegrown, female-led, and ready to help make your transition to a new space as seamless as possible. They excel at residential and commercial moving jobs, as well as offer home cleanouts and junk removal services. Moving into a new place is stressful enough, so let Movers and Shakers ease the transition. Give them a call today at 712-899-6265 or book your move online at www.moversandShakersNE.com today.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker, who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Yes, welcome into the Adam Carriker Show, part 2, or hour 2 anyway, of our July 3rd edition here. Happy birthday to this wonderful country we live in. Of course, tomorrow it will be 249 years old. And so, as we all know, politics, all this stuff, a lot of bickering throughout the year. But tomorrow, we just get together and have a birthday celebration and blow things up. So that's a good way, American way of doing things. And we wish you a happy 4th of July. And hopefully, a lot of people I know maybe getting today off, or some people just waiting for whatever time, 3 o'clock, whatever it might be, so that they can enjoy maybe an elongated weekend. So have some fun, be safe. And let's talk some sports, why don't we? Like I said, I'm Jake Bachman, Nick Sehnert in here with me. Adam will be back next week. But we're still going to talk some Husker football here. I think a lot of people feel like a breakout performance is going to be necessary for a specific quarterback in the Nebraska roster. That, of course, being Dylan Raiola. I want to get your thoughts here first on that, Nick, because Adam will say, and I kind of like his line of thinking, is that he didn't expect Dylan to necessarily be a Heisman Trophy contender last year. He did about what he was expected to. This year, I think you kind of want to get into the point more of winning some games because of Dylan, and his quarterbacking ability. But is he necessarily need to break out and be in Heisman contention for this team to succeed? Not necessarily. You definitely would take it, but not necessarily. So Adam kind of puts that on year 3. What are your thoughts on a potential breakout season for Dylan Raiola? Is it needed, or what are your expectations this year for Dylan?
Well, I don't know. Now breakout season is obviously subjective, because what quantifies a breakout season statistically? I think it's obviously to put that there. I would ask you a quick question. We know what Adam felt like. Did you feel like he did what he needed to do last year?
I mean, I
because
think
I might have an unpopular answer to that question.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he struggled a lot more down the stretch in the second part of the season than he did at the beginning, which is understandable. Teams get some film on him. So I think kind of ran into a freshman wall. Now that may have been addressed and was better the last couple games. So you kind of turn it around. Like that last half of the season wasn't great, but the last 3 games, right? They won 2 games. The quarterback's going to get a lot of the credit for that. Even still, though, hasn't thrown for 300 yards in a game yet.
Yep.
And obviously there were some things, pocket mobility, kind of learning how to take hits. Did miss some open receivers at times. Although the receiving unit, we know, also had their struggles last year. So I thought that he did what he needed to, but I don't want to say to meet expectations, but it was close to the minimum level, right? It wasn't necessarily exceeding expectations. It was kind of getting, so, there are freshmen that have had certainly bigger seasons than he had for all the weight of the world that was on him. I think he did well, but did not go too much beyond that, I suppose.
Would a good word be serviceable?
Yes.
I think
absolutely.
Serviceable is a good one. I think if we look back in now, 2 or 3 years, however much longer Dylan Raiola is the quarterback at Nebraska, and we say, okay, that freshman season was his floor, we're going to be okay. I think Nebraska, like we as Nebraska fans, I think Nebraska football will be okay if that was his floor, which would mean that he needs to take a step forward this year. I think we put a lot of the reason for the struggles on the offensive coordinator situation. I think there was more to it. I think there's decision making that goes into this topic as well. But we can't sit here and act like Dylan Raiola didn't struggle to hold on to the ball. 13 touchdown passes is fine, but 11 interceptions, that's a lot, right?
Yeah.
So
and,
I think,
and to your point, 13 is not a whole lot.
No.
More than one a game.
No,
so.
and you're going to be asking him to probably throw more this year.
Yeah,
is what it feels like. And so Nebraska's going to have an element of the run game. They certainly will, and they need to. But I think you're going to see Nebraska try to really air it out at times under Dana Holgorsen, which is fine. I think they also have skill position guys on the perimeter in the wide receiver room to be able to do that too.
Yeah.
So Yeah, like we can sit here and just have this like umbrella statement of, yeah, he needs to take a step forward. What does that look like? Does that look like 20 touch, 3,000, 3,500 passing yards, maybe 3,200 passing yards, which would be, a little over 300 more than what he had last year, which over the course of 12 games isn't a whole lot. So I would say maybe, 3,200 passing yards, 20 touchdowns, less than 10 INTs.
Yeah.
Like I think there were a lot of games last year that, and it wasn't also him just like chucking it up and praying. I thought that it looked at times like his deep ball could have improved a little bit last year. It kind of fluttered at times. Like it felt like it just held up there a long time. Part of it might be on the receiving end too. Did you have guys that were able to go get the ball? And he wasn't helped out by Isaiah Nair in Iowa's game and stuff like that. So yeah, it does not all go on Dylan Raiola, but as the quarterback of a place like Nebraska, you're going to get all the praise or a bulk of the praise, but you're also going to get the bulk of the blame.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you think about that pass to Lindenmeyer, obviously could have won maybe the Illinois game. But obviously you get a touchdown there. So like you said, there's just a few plays that a drop, an inch off here and there, and the statistics can look significantly better. But I agree with you. I mean, so that's where I'm kind of stuck in kind of feeling the same type of ways. I don't know if Dylan Raiola has to be an all-conference type player for Nebraska to take a significant step forward. But I think that there is, I think one thing that helps, because the numbers weren't overwhelming, like we said last year. One thing that helps is at times the tape, right? I mean, you can see he's got the arm, he's got some athleticism, he can do some some unique throws, which have been kind of asked of quarterbacks more over the last couple of years. And so the potential is there, and that's kind of why we talk about Dylan Raiola and have been talking about him for years, even before he stepped on campus. Is the potential is sky high. To meet that is going to be the goal of the Nebraska coaching staff, to put him in a place to do that. And of course, then this year, like we said, you bring in Dana Holgerson, you bring in Isaiah Hunter and Dane Key. Now nationally, there are a lot of expectations because there's just a lot of pieces in the room to have that step forward, to have that breakout season. So I frame all that to say that I think Dylan Raiola nationally is expected to have a breakout season. And like you said, you got to use kind of your own mind on whether you think, what constitutes a breakout season. But I think there are several other Huskers that have a potential for a breakout season. I want you to compare that, Nick, to Dylan and who you have more faith in. So I'm going to go through this list, and you tell me if Dylan has more of a chance for a breakout season or one of these players, because I believe that Dylan, I've got him fifth as far as my expectations for most likely to have a breakout season for Nebraska.
Ooh.
So I'll go through some names here. Let's start with Dylan Raiola or Cam Linhart. Who do you think has more of a chance for a breakout season?
Dylan,
Yep.
just from a volume standpoint, touching the ball in every play. So
Well, I'm just saying, like, comparatively, if Cam Linhart goes out and
Yeah.
has 12 and a half tackles for loss and 7 sacks.
That's a guy we forgot about too.
Right.
Like he had a good freshman year where it was like, okay, let's see him progress next year. And then he just didn't find the field. I still think Dylan.
Okay.
I'm still going to lean Dylan.
Yeah, this is kind of the back end of my list. So a lot of these guys, I would lean with Dylan as well. Riley Van Poppel.
I'm actually going to go Riley Van Poppel here.
Okay, you're going to boot. There's one.
I am. I think he's tasked with replacing a large chunk of what is now a void of Ty Robinson and Nash Hutmaker void, like holes. Like Nebraska has had, I don't want to say Nebraska has had stability at that defensive, especially that interior defensive line. Now, they haven't been super disruptive. They were last year, but they've had similar faces. And there hasn't been a whole lot of turnover on the interior defensive line area the last couple of seasons. And a big reason is because you had Nash and Ty there.
Yeah.
And so, I think the front four is going to be an area where it gets a lot of focus, and who's going to be the guy in the middle, and it's going to be Riley Van Poppel.
Now, Matt Rule throws a lot of praise around, so you have to be kind of careful with this. But remember, he kind of circled Riley Van Poppel, said, you redshirt here, you can be Ty Robinson the next year.
Yeah, and I think that's what Nebraska needs. Nebraska, even with Ty and Nash, didn't generate, I think, at times, consistent pressure. There were sparks, right? And like you could tell that when the game was going well for Nebraska, those guys turned it up a notch. And not that they were slacking. That's not what I'm getting at. But what I am saying is that you could tell that when those guys got into a different type of motor, they made an impact on the game. I mean, there was so like Keona Davis and Riley Van Poppel are those two guys that Nebraska went into the portal and was able to retain Keona Davis.
Yeah.
They intentionally, I look at it as like, okay, Mekhi Bayer entered the portal. Nebraska might not have chased down Mekhi as much. They wanted Keona Davis to be a part of this.
Yeah.
And they needed him to be a part of it. And so those two guys are now charged with replacing two of your more stable defenders across the entire defense over the last couple of seasons. It's a heavy task, but this is once again, this is what you want if you're one of those guys, Riley Van Poppel or Keona Davis. So it's a big task ahead for them, and I have confidence in RVP that he's going to actually do quite nicely there.
Yeah. So a lot of confidence in Riley Van Poppel. You mentioned him. Let's do Keona Davis now. More chance of a breakout season, Keona Davis or Dylan Raiola?
We have to try to compartmentalize coach speak. And we heard Terrence Knighton and Tony White and those guys talk about Keona Davis on such a high level time and time again last year, Bach, that it's like, okay, what were they? What is truthful and what is just excitement for the future? Trying to pitch excitement for the future from the coaching staff. I'm going to lean Dylan Raiola just because I think, and the reason I chose Riley Van Poppel over Keona Davis, and I choose Riley Van Poppel one time and not Keona Davis this time, just from an extra year under his belt of being in the program. So I'm going to lean Dylan Raiola on that one.
Keona Davis still very young, but I mean, he's definitely got an NFL body, moving forward. So he definitely has potential. And so at some point, I think he's going to break out. Is it going to be this season? There's going to be opportunity. So that's why I put him on the list. I thought it'd be kind of interesting. Let's go with Sierra Wright. Sierra Wright kind of broke out last year for Nebraska. Definitely kind of think about the USC game. So with him, you're kind of thinking about a breakout, taking another step forward, maybe from, hey, he's Nebraska's best corner to he's an all Big Ten kind of first, second team type of performer there. Who do you think has a better chance of breaking out here? Dylan Raiola or Sierra Wright?
Okay, so let's look at these defensive backs here, because I'm interested just to have this whole conversation of what the defensive backfield looks like. Because I'm gonna say, to answer your question first and foremost, I think it's Dylan again.
Okay.
What do you think that secondary looks like? We know in the back it's going to be Deshaun and Marquise Buford more than likely. Malcolm Hartzog is still in that room.
Yeah.
We saw the Donovan Jones in the bowl game, who's a redshirt freshman now. To go down a little lower, you bring in the transfer from Idaho, who I'm blanking on the name, Andrew Marshall.
That's right.
You bring in Andrew Marshall. I wonder where a couple of these guys fit in to this. Sierra Wright on the other side of Andrew Marshall, probably. But then, like, also, what about Bly Hill? Where's Bly Hill in all of this conversation? We forget how the coaches and we were viewing Bly Hill going into the year last year in spring ball, the transfer from from St. Francis. And then he gets injured and he misses the entire year. And so I'm interested to see. I think that the defensive back room has good competition. Who gets left out in some situations when facing some offenses, because also in the Big Ten, you mentioned the defense not allowing a rushing statistic or rushing touchdown all year
at home. Yeah.
At home. And that's notable in the Big Ten.
Oh yeah.
And so it's going to be, something to watch, I think, of Nebraska's pass defense, because, and then when we talk about the front four with Riley Van Poppel and Keona Davis, their ability to either stuff the middle and open things up for a guy like Marquise Watson Trent to be able to go make plays.
Yeah. And I should point this out too. I don't have Deshaun Singleton, Hartzog, or Buford on this list, and maybe I should, as far as questioning him. I like you probably. I mean, I would. The reason why I don't think so is because I think we kind of know who those guys are. Now, that being said, it doesn't mean you can't break out your senior season. Matt O'Hanlon definitely had a breakout senior season. Some players, when you kind of get stronger, you're bigger. You've had that experience. that is the exact time for a breakout.
That was the year. So Matt O'Hanlon was a senior when he had those 3 picks, right?
Yeah,
against
Oklahoma. Yep.
Who was the quarterback for Oklahoma?
Oh, man.
Come on.
I was at that game.
You can do this.
I probably can do this.
It is not Sam Bradford.
Landry Jones.
Yes.
Landry. Yeah, that's right.
Landry Jones. People forget about Landry Jones.
Yeah.
Well, he's actually near the top of the Oklahoma record books for passing
He was
statistics.
slinging it around, yeah.
But he has – it was funny because I looked up for some reason just to know, looked up passing statistics. He has like 52 interceptions. No, maybe not 52. It is like triple the amount of Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
It is bad. And Baker
Right.
Mayfield slung it around too.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, Matt Hanlon took a few of those. So
He did.
Shout out to Matt Hanlon. Anytime we get to mention him, that's always good.
Austin Cassidy.
Yeah, there you go.
There's a name. Lincoln Southwest product.
Let's continue our more of a chance for a breakout season. We're kind of comparing it to Dylan Raiola here. Here's a big one. Who has more chance of a breakout season, Dylan Raiola or Emmett Johnson?
Emmett.
Yeah.
Just because the bar is lower. Nebraska hasn't Nebraska fans have not seen a 1,000-yard rusher in a long time. And I think we put a lot of weight on just that one statistic of 1,000-yard rusher. But I would go a step further and say Nebraska has not seen a consistent, dynamic running back throughout the course of 12 games. We've seen breakout flashes, whether that was A.J. Allen, whether that was Jaquez Yant, even Emmett Johnson or Ramir Johnson. But to see one guy from game 1 to game 12 do it, we have not seen it since Amir Abdullah.
Yeah.
And so that is the like I personally don't look at it and go, okay, Emmett needs this number, this amount of rushing yards. Emmett needs this many rushing touchdowns. He needs to be able to pass block. He needs to be. I don't look at it necessarily in terms of statistics and quantities. I more so look at it as, can he be dynamic and a very, very instrumental part of the offense from game 1 to game 12? And if that answer is yes, then I think the statistics and the numbers come with it. But
Yeah.
I think that you can look at it and say the floor for what constitutes a very successful season for a Nebraska running back is a lot lower than what it would be for a quarterback. So that's why I go Emmett.
Yeah, and I think a big part of his game, too, is going to be out of the backfield. So I think we look at that 1,000-yard rushing, and I think you want to be close. I mean, 900, 850, something like that if you're going to be in that conversation. But if you can add 500-600 yards receiving, even 400 or 500, I mean, that's going to be a dynamic play. It could be all Big Ten.
And then in turn, you can have that allows Dylan Raiola to gain a little bit of confidence in the game. Like that was what we forget last year, the way games started, and we noticed a difference between the way that the game was scripted and started out when Dana Holgerson was calling the plays versus when Marcus Satterfield or whoever was calling the plays for the start of the year. How do you get Dylan Raiola in a rhythm? Just because Dylan's a sophomore now and not a true freshman doesn't mean that you don't need to get him into a rhythm. You got to figure out a way to get Dylan Raiola comfortable. Nebraska doesn't have this all-world offensive line. I think they're going to be improved. They were fine last year. I think they're going to be improved this year, just under another year of having continuity with Donovan Raiola. But you still need to get your quarterback and the rest of your offense in some sort of a rhythm. And Nebraska, it just felt like every single game they started clunkier than crap, and you never really knew, okay, what's the goal? What's the plan here? Using your running back out of the backfield is a great way to not only maybe provide a little bit of a burst, force those DBs to potentially come up a little closer and have to honor Emmett Johnson or a linebacker, whatever the case may be, but also it can allow Dylan Raiola to see a couple of his balls get completed right out of the gate. And so hopefully that gets Emmett Johnson going, that gets Dylan Raiola going, and it opens up things for the rest of the offense too.
Well, and it's interesting because Emmett Johnson, as we know, has kind of been is a good. I tried to phrase this. Is a good at everything, not great at one thing, right? So that's maybe it's held him back. Some people would think, well, I like it here, but maybe this guy's got a higher upside over here and that. And so, I say that to say like his top end speed is good, not great. It's not gonna set any records at the combine or anything, but it's good. And he got to the point of being Nebraska's big play threat. There's just wasn't a whole lot else out there, at least in my mind. Now, like you said, maybe a deep ball to Nair here and there, but it wasn't consistent enough. And so that's going to be I'm going to be interested to see that, is because if they are able to add a few more big play threats. Barney always was kind of like, he had 55 receptions, but 8 yards a catch. Yeah, it was just quick. Yeah,
chuck it down there. Maybe he can make a play. If
but
not, throw an underneath route to him and let him just do the work.
But between Key and Hunter and Harburg, and maybe they'll have enough weapons that somebody else can kind of take a little bit of pressure off Emmett and then allow him to have more space, which can provide more big plays.
I'm really intrigued by Isaiah Hunter.
Yeah,
I think Isaiah Hunter was Nebraska's biggest pickup offensively this year. And I understand that that's with like Elijah Pritchett, who's going to be the left tackle position. Dane Key was all SEC. I get that. For the stability going forward, for the betterment of Ja'Cory Barney's career the next 3 years, for the betterment of Dylan's career the next 2 or 3 years, I think Isaiah Hunter was the most valuable pickup Nebraska had offensively. Just because he allows you to have more continuity in that wide receiver room.
Yeah.
In terms of a guy that also played a healthy amount at Cal.
Absolutely.
In his first year. And so I think you're right. I think that Nebraska's in this spot to where you've now built a formidable offense around Dylan Raiola. That's what you needed to do. When you go out and get a 5-star quarterback, that is, you either sink or you swim, and you stay afloat by bringing in skilled players and and playmakers to center Dylan around. I think one of Nebraska's bugaboos, and this is maybe something we can talk about in the next segment, is you mentioned Emmett's a guy that does a lot of things well, doesn't specialize in one thing. Nebraska has tried to recruit, I think, at times both ways into those do-it-all, all-around type of running backs at the running back position. But I think they've also tried to go out and find guys that specialize in certain things, but they just haven't panned out. And that's another conversation, is where you go out, I'm going to use very generic terms here, elusive back, power back. Like that's what you can go deeper into those conversations, but elusive back, power back. But in turn, the power back either hasn't panned out and hasn't been able to find the field. I think like Quentin Ives is not guy there. But then also like Ramir Johnson, I think, is a perfect example of what did you bring him in to do? Everything. Well, his size didn't allow him to be successful at some areas. And so that's where you run into some issues, and you just don't want to ask Emmett Johnson to do things that he's not successful at because other guys didn't pan out.
Well, and I think that goes into the conversation too, and maybe it's fair, maybe it's not. EJ Bertha has been here for a while now, but I think part of the worry with Emmett Johnson going down or anything with without Emmett Johnson is that Nebraska has not been able to develop a running back to successfully grab hold of that number one job. Like you said, for years and years, and almost reluctantly when it has worked out, like with Ezebo and even Emmett Johnson, like they've had to fight through like coaching staffs not playing them, and finally just saying, okay, this is the best guy.
Well, if Dante Dowdell was in this room, is Emmett Johnson your surefire number one?
I don't know that he is,
and that's where I think Emmett, between the two, in doing a comparison, I think Emmett is better for Nebraska. But that's where I sit there and say the competition needs to continue being improved in that room, because you have to find one of these guys has to just take it. And I think Emmett's done a really good job this offseason at taking the job. There's concern there to the what if scenarios of what if this guy goes down? What if this guy misses 3 games and Nebraska's 4-0 and you're sitting there getting ready for the bulk of conference play? And now you're out a running back, your wide receivers banged up, your offensive line might be banged up. Like, who do you turn to?
Yeah.
And so that's why I think then the macro, the big picture discussion is that's why year 3 is so crucial for head coaches, but especially Matt Rule this year.
Yeah, it'll be fascinating. We're about halfway through my list. We're comparing Dylan Raiola to other players on the team to see who has the most likely chance at a breakout season. we'll continue this. As you can see, it opens up conversations to talk all sorts of Husker football. We'll do that next year on our July 3rd edition of the Adam Carriker Show.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law Group and find out how we can help get you the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you can trust.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
In today's digital world, technology works great until it doesn't. At Hamilton, we work to keep your business up and running. We are more than an IT company. We're your partner, focused on customized solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Say goodbye to tech stress and unexpected IT costs when you hire Hamilton. Together, we help you focus on what really matters. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Citizen soldier and veterans of the Army National Guard, you are invited to celebrate the 3rd of July at the Roca Tavern for a free concert by Sean Cole and the Drunk Monkeys. It all starts at 8 p.m. and it's sponsored by the City Car Wash on 3rd and Main in Hickman.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine. Is your child 7 to 8 years old and wanting to get involved in competitive baseball or softball? The Nebraska Dominators have been active in the youth sports community since 1994 and are currently holding tryouts for their 7U and 8U baseball and softball teams. Visit the Nebraska Dominators Facebook page for more info today and provide your player the path to a successful and enjoyable youth sports experience with the help of the Nebraska Dominators.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
Hopefully you and I agree that you should do everything you can to save your marriage. Divorce is hard, expensive, and its outcome is usually not all you hope for. However, when doing everything has failed, when divorce remains as your last option, consider Cordell & Cordell as your first choice to help you through the divorce process to a better place on the other side. We've been a partner men can count on for more than 30 years. Let us be that partner for you.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Lincoln area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 402-858-3220. That's 402-858-3220. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Lincoln. 1221 N Street, Suite 801, Lincoln, Nebraska 68508.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SartorHeyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
If you're a veteran, our nation has created a wide range of benefits to thank you for your service, but it can be difficult to navigate the process of determining eligibility, filing claims, appealing decisions, and securing the benefits you've earned. Speak to your county veteran service officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. These services are 100% free, so visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on the Adam Carriker Show as we are powering through here. Hour number 2. We are talking and discussing about the Huskers with the most likely chance to break out this season. And, of course, comparing that to Dylan Raiola because all conversations revolve around Dylan Raiola. No, I more did that because I think nationally that's the expectation for Dylan Raiola to break out, and that's how Nebraska will have a successful season. But I just think there's a lot of other opportunities here for a breakout season. So, Nick, so far through our list, you said perhaps Riley Van Poppel and Emmett Johnson might have more of a chance to break out than Dylan Raiola. Let's see if we can add some other names to this. How about Heinrich Harburg or Dylan Raiola? More of a chance to break out.
Dylan.
Not much of a conversation there.
No.
Yeah.
I don't. We love Heinrich Harburg for his persistence. We love Heinrich Harburg for his willingness to do whatever he's asked. For his gutsiness, for his work ethic. Like, there's a lot of positive things for Heinrich Harburg. I still wonder how much he's going to be involved. Like, I know the staff loves him. I just think that I think it's tough. Prove to me, Nebraska, you're going to utilize tight ends.
Yeah. Well, there's that.
There you go. That's where I'm at. Like, prove to me you're going to utilize them enough to where they put on a big factor in the game consistently. And so that's where I think Dylan.
Well, and I just think going back to Heinrich too, I do think it's incredible because I think he has to have some major level of belief that this tight end situation is going to work because we see the numbers that quarterbacks are making out there in the transfer portal, and I think he would have been somewhat interesting at the portal as a quarterback. Just because he has some Big Ten wins.
Yeah, and if you want a running threat, I think there's that piece of it too.
Yeah, you got to run a certain offense. Sure.
Yeah, so I just
more talking about the MAC level than maybe big time college football, but there's still money to be made there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Money G in Kansas asked, who is the LSU tight end that came last year? Mac Markway.
Yeah.
Who was injured last year, got banged up in practice with a little bit of a knee injury. Should be available. I just like that's another piece that we have not talked about. We talked a lot about the wide receivers and running backs. How about the tight ends? Nebraska, that's another area. I would equate it to running backs, to where that's another area and position group they've had plenty of potential for guys. And whether that's because guys haven't been able to step up, stay healthy, or because of coaching reasons, haven't utilized tight ends or running backs enough. Like, that's just been a spot that Nebraska's it's been underutilized and it's underperformed.
Finally got a draft pick last year. Yeah, had been since Tracy Wistrom in like the year 2001, maybe, since they had a draft pick. So
really,
it was a long
Austin
time.
Allen was an undrafted.
Undrafted, yeah.
Jeez.
A lot of good guys. Ethan Carter, Mike
Oh,
McNeil.
Ethan Carter.
Yeah, Kyler Reed.
Kyler Reed was great.
Absolutely, yeah. We can go through all the
That's
names.
my
Matt
heyday.
Arian even back then.
That's
yeah.
my heyday. How about like Ben Cotton?
Oh, yeah, Ben Cotton.
Mike McNeil.
They had some good
Mike
groups.
McNeil was good.
He was good.
Mike McNeil was very good.
They've had some really good tight ends. Just didn't get them drafted. We'll see if Harburg can change that as well.
Was Mike McNeil the tight end when Zach Lee was the quarterback?
I believe so.
Because that's a big reason why.
Yeah.
That's the pass that Zach Lee was able to complete. So,
well, it's interesting too because that defense, we all know that was a defensive-led team.
oh, that offense was bad.
But there were pieces there, to your point, like Mike McNeil, Niles Paul. I think
that was 2009.
Yeah, I think Rex Burkhead was there. I mean, they had some pieces. It just it was missing a quarterback a little bit to help out there.
Yeah, you're right. Zach Lee, he only attempted 300 passes that year. Okay, so like this is a good example. Last year, Dylan Raiola had, 2,800 yards, 13 touchdowns, 11 interceptions.
Yeah.
In 2009, Zach Lee had 14 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
Yeah.
So now, granted, the game has changed. Dylan had about 700 more passing yards than Zach Lee did in 2010. And in no way am I saying that Dylan's career is going to be viewed the same as Zach Lee's, because I hope it doesn't. But that kind of gives you an idea of
what that freshman
what
season
that offense looked like for Nebraska last year.
Yeah.
And Nebraska certainly had a good defense last year. It wasn't an 09 defense.
No.
Not anywhere close.
Let's move on. Speaking of that defense, getting into our comparisons here, more chance at a breakout season, Marquise Watson-Trent or Dylan Raiola?
Man, that's a tough one. I might be higher on Marquise Watson-Trent though too, than a lot of people. I'm still gonna lean Dylan.
Okay,
I'm still gonna lean Dylan for a lot of the reasons that we said.
Yeah, and we've talked about Marquise Watson-Trent throughout the show.
If Marquise can come in and 90 tackles,
yeah,
like that's productivity out of the portal.
Absolutely, and that's part of it.
It's notable and much needed for a defense.
And again, for some of these guys to break out now, from a guy that's had 3 state 100 tackle seasons, a breakout's just kind of comparing to what he's going to do. If he keeps doing what he's been doing, that's kind of a breakout season because it'll be at this level. All right, more chance of a breakout season: Dylan Raiola or Deshaun McCullough?
Oh, Deshaun! I forgot about Deshaun. I'm still gonna go Dylan. Because once again, like similar to Emmett Johnson, the reason I chose Emmett Johnson was because I felt like the floor, or excuse me, like what we would classify it as a breakout year was less. I think for Dylan, it's what we'd classify as a breakout year is 15 plus touchdown passes and fewer than 10 interceptions. Like get that touchdown interception ratio better, than 13 to 11.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna go Dylan there because I think like Deshaun is gonna need 100 tackles. Like that's what you're going to probably need out of those guys.
Yeah, it's interesting with him too. I mean, he's just they talk about his potential for years, and that's why he's kind of in this breakout list. But now kind of settling in on a position at that jack linebacker spot. We'll see if he can create some havoc there. All right, how about Dylan Raiola? More potential for a breakout. Dylan Raiola or Isaiah Hunter? Now they're working kind of tandemly.
I would say
together,
if one does well, it's because the other guy. And for that reason, I'll go Dylan. I think Isaiah Hunter though is very, very important to Nebraska's success.
Very, very true. All right, let's go with big time recruits.
Can I ask you this?
Yeah.
Is there an avenue to where at the end of the year we are higher on Isaiah Hunter than we are Jacory Barney?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think I between Barney and Key and Hunter, it's tough to tell. One of them could have, like I said, that breakout season, and Dylan could benefit from any one of them kind of, finding their footing a little bit better, or, that pairing working out. But I would not be, I mean, even just placing odds on it. I know Key might be your favorite or this and that, but I would not be shocked if any of them lead Nebraska in receiving, maybe a different one with receiving yards, touchdowns, and
now, is that a problem?
No, I think it's good. Spread the ball around, but also, it's also great if you can have a Trey Palmer or some Marvin Harrison Jr. that does separate, and you say, okay, well, that guy's great.
Okay, because maybe this is a question we need to ask the text line. I know we have to go on to recruits, but maybe this is a question we can ask the text line. What would you rather have? Would you, because whether it's at the running back position, and you can choose which one you want to answer. Running back position, do you want one guy that does it all, that is Nebraska's workhorse, or would you be okay with having a two running back system, not a committee thing? We also have to mention Isaiah Mosey potentially moving to running back is something that's been talked about this offseason. And then at wide receiver, are you okay with one guy being the main feature? But also that's gotten Nebraska into some trouble in the last couple of years. So do you want it balanced out?
Well, it's kind of funny because if you said, like, would you rather have 1,000-yard receiver and people would, go crazy because then you got somebody that broke out, or 3 guys for sure, hit 650. I think you'd take 3 guys at 650 because, you might not have that one performance breaking out, but that means you have a healthy passing game.
Well, and more than likely guys stayed healthy.
Yeah.
The injury bug stayed away. That's the more important thing. I think Nebraska's going to be, this is not outlandish take. Nebraska's going to be at their best when all 3 of those wide receivers are available.
Absolutely.
You're going to get bumps and bruises, but if all 3 of those can avoid some extended injury, Nebraska's going to be at their best. And then that's going to also give us the opportunity at the end of the year to see, okay, Dylan, this was a year to where you had 1 year where you came into the system. Now here's 1 year where the system was built around you. How does it change? What does it look like? Were you able to improve dramatically when it was conformed to you? And that's, I think after year 2, we're able to get a really good idea of what kind of quarterback Dylan Raiola can be.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a quick break. I did not mean this to take the whole hour, but I still got a few more names to ask you to see if you believe. So far we've got Emmett Johnson and Riley Van Poppel. Can we add to the list of players that perhaps could have more chance for a breakout season than Dylan Raiola? I've saved 3 that I think just might do it. So we'll talk about that next here on the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Western Sand and Gravel is hiring for a variety of positions at their sand and gravel plants near Ashland. Apply today and receive a $2,500 hiring bonus. Available positions include plant operators, dredge operators, and shop service technicians. They offer great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, paid holidays, and paid time off. No matter your experience level, on-the-job training is available to help you build a rewarding career with Western Sand and Gravel. Start your career today. Visit westernsand.com.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
Hopefully you and I agree that you should do everything you can to save your marriage. Divorce is hard, expensive, and its outcome is usually not
we've been going through this here this hour, I should say, is the breakout performances, breakout potential for Nebraska in the players on the roster, kind of comparing him to Dylan Raiola, because nationally, he's, I think, the number one expectation. The expectation is for him to take that jump. So we've gotten through some names. Nick has decided Riley Van Poppel and Emmett Johnson might have some more breakout potential relative to Dylan Raiola. I got 3 more names to throw at you to see if we can see if we can knock Dylan out of your top 5 of breakout players here for Nebraska this year. And we talked briefly about him, so I want to throw him in there. We talked about him when we talked about Isaiah Hunter, but Ja'Cory Barney is an interesting name. Remember, because he also had 3 rushing touchdowns last year. Now, those are on those kind of jet sweep pitches that he kind of threw forward, so it's always interesting whether you call those a pass or a rush. But one way or the other, he's also had a dynamic kick return. So he's got a little bit more of the outside the passing game potential to break out. Would you say Ja'Cory Barney or Dylan Raiola have more of a chance for a breakout season?
So obviously we don't know what the special teams is going to specifically look like in terms of personnel under Mike Eckler. I would hope that Ja'Cory Barney's a piece of it, and that's where I think that Nebraska could have a leg up, or at least improve a decent amount. So I'm actually going to give Ja'Cory Barney this one. I'm going to say Ja'Cory Barney just because of that special teams aspect. Now, if he's not a part of special teams, same conversation as Isaiah Hunter, where if one guy's doing well, it's because of the other.
Yeah. All right. A couple other names here that are going to be interesting. Williams Nwaneri has of course, it was a top 5 type player coming into Missouri last year as a recruit. Didn't really play all that much at Missouri, but now comes in here with a chance, and a lot of people are expecting him to have a big season, a breakout potential compared to Dylan.
So here's a crazy thing. I'm gonna say Dylan Raiola. The reason I'm not incredibly high on Williams Nwaneri yet is because the situation, if you dive deeper into the situation at Missouri, so Missouri has this weird thing, and the SEC has this weird thing where they can adjust NIL money as you go. And that was part of what happened there. I like Williams Nwaneri's potential. I want to see him to be disruptive off the edge before I buy in.
Yeah, fair enough. I have to agree with you too. I mean, he's exciting about his potential. You just his size. You remember the all the photos coming out of camp were just like, man, look how big him and Keona Davis look together next to each other. So there's a lot of potential there. But again, it's one of those things where he isn't showing it on the field. Dylan at least has shown a little bit on the field. So I agree with you.
He's played more. There's just a larger sample size.
All right, last name I got for you is a guy that some people have slotted to be a first-round pick next year. Who has more potential, Dylan Raiola or Elijah Pritchett, for a breakout season here in 2025?
I'm going to say Elijah Pritchett. The reason I say this, I think Nebraska's offense, this is a big year for Donovan Raiola. For Donovan. He's been here, longest tenured assistant. He's obviously transcended a couple of staffs. This is now where he's been able to. I gotta try to keep this as an Elijah Pritchett conversation, not an offensive line conversation. Nebraska protecting their quarterback's backside has been a problem. Part of this goes into then ball security, right? Strip sacks from behind, things like that. Dylan wasn't great at holding on to the ball last year. We talk interceptions. Also in the pocket, struggled at times to hold on to the football. Got him back a lot, right? Was able to jump on a loose ball, but fumbled a few times. This is where if Elijah Pritchett can have a strong year from that left tackle position to where that takes pressure off of Dylan Raiola, Dylan's going to be great. But also we're going to look at that and go, look at how good the left tackle play is. And then when you compare it to how bad it's been the last decade, we're gonna value Elijah Pritchett's that addition even more.
Yeah, it's interesting. I know he's got 2 years of eligibility left, and he's really kind of thinking about 1 year here. So he is expecting that breakout. Matt Rule has kind of said it's a 1 year thing, not necessarily in those words, but has kind of implied that that's kind of what they're expecting him to break out and to be able to kind of be ready for draft eligibility next year. Hopefully it's in the rounds that will be in his favor if things go right for him this season. So we'll wrap it up here. We've got Barney, Pritchett, Emmett Johnson, and Riley Van Poppel as your top 4 breakout performers this season. Is there one amongst them that you think you would have number 1?
I really like the Ja'Cory Barney aspect just from the special teams. It's been so bad for so long. That's an area I think Nebraska can really make some hay is in the return game. Do something. Do something net positive.
Yeah.
Not neutral. Get out of neutral. Do something. And I think that's where Ja'Cory Barney can make a difference.
I don't necessarily disagree with you. I had Barney as my number 1 as well.
Whoa!
So big things expected from Ja'Cory Barney and Elijah Pritchard and Emmett Johnson.
Get us a sliver of what we tasted in 2014 with DeMornay Pearsonell's freshman year.
Yes, please.
That's all we're asking for.
All right, that'll wrap it up. Thank you, Nick, for
Thanks,
joining
Buck.
us here on the Adam Carriker Show. Buck and the Black Shirt coming up next year. Don't go anywhere. Here on July 3rd on 93.7 The Ticket.
Hog Wild will be open on the 4th of July, serving up our award-winning barbecue. Pick up a slab of slow-smoked ribs and a family